Hello everyone and welcome to this Videos on Frontier video. My name is Jay Wakefield. Now if you saw my previous video, you will have seen me unbox this baby, the Compaq Armada 7800. Now I've been looking for one of these for quite a long time. I kind of like how it's an updated version of the 7700 series machines, of which I own a 7750 MT, and I love it. I think it's an absolutely brilliant machine. However, this is the 7800. Now, hats off to Compaq here, because thanks to their Armada quick spec sheet and the model number on the bottom, the full model number, I was able to obtain, and thanks to the fact that they still archive drivers for their legacy products, I was able to obtain all the drivers and, well, the complete spec list for this particular laptop, how it would have been when it came out of the factory. Now, what I can tell you about this machine is that it runs a Pentium 2 266 MHz, just like the Dell Latitude CPID 266XT. It also runs S3 graphics, 64 megs of RAM, and when it came out of the factory, an 8GB hard drive. Now, I'm not too sure if that drive is still in here. The seller said that the machine came with Windows 95, posted a picture of it quite clearly running Windows 98, and he said that he was going to be formatting it because of, just for security, which is very sensible. I can also tell you that this DVD-ROM drive is not original to the machine, but it certainly is an original Compaq part. This machine, while you could get 7800s that did have DVD-ROMs, this machine, according to the quick spec sheet, would have came with a CD-ROM drive. But this has got a DVD-ROM drive, but like I said in my last video, if I wanted to swap it out, I might do that down the line. It's very easy to do so. Now, this might not initially look like any DVD-ROM drive that I have for a Compaq Armada, but let me show you something. So there's a catch under here that you need to kind of pull, and while doing that you need to kind of pull the DVD drive out by the lip. Now this looks basically at the moment like a black version of the Armada 7750, well, flannel grey version of the Armada 7750 MT's optical drive. However, if we look under here, we see two more catches. Now, if we undo those, we can then push the drive out of the caddy altogether. And there we are presented with a regular Compaq, I do believe it's called a D-Bay drive, and please stop me if I'm wrong, and that can go into any Armada of the time period. We've got the M700, the E500, and yes, even inside an HP Compaq D530U. So just for the time being, what I'm going to do is I'm going to mount this back into the caddy. It leaves me wondering whether such a contraption would work on the 7750 MT. However, the question is, cosmetically, would I want one of these drives for the 7750 MT, because I've not seen a white bezeled one of these. They're all black, as far as I'm aware. Like, this is really difficult to do one-handed. I'm not the sort of person who can... I mean, there's certainly no Brandon Bishop when it comes to this. I mean, he can dismantle a Macintosh 2CI one-handed in 6 minutes and completely reassemble it again. Even with an added comedy sound effects track. Right, let me just do this with both. Might help if I put the drive the right way up. So what I can do now is, one of these catches seems to have not become locked again, but now both catches are in. As you can see, the drive is pretty solidly locked into place. I wouldn't mind a CD writer one of these, actually. DVD-ROM CDRW combi. For one of my faster Armada models. And what I can do, just slide it back in. It's a nice satisfying click. And now we have it. And now, let's plug it in and switch it on. I've got it plugged in at the unit, but I still need to plug it in at the mains. Okay, so okay, the machine's gone ahead of me now. So it's not actually fully powered up, but the fans came on. So it seems to have the same sort of light array as the Armada 7750 MT. Wonder if the mouse button works properly on this one. Let's try switching it on fully. The orange light suggests that the battery is charging. Okay. Smoke test! We have power. Well, there's a hard disk in there, but it's not currently mounted. It's not currently got anything installed on it. Let's see if the setup partition's still around. Oh yeah, it's F10, not F12J. Please do try and pay attention. Well, it looks like I need to install the setup soft pack. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go and burn a disk? Hang on a minute. This is an American keyboarded Armada 7800. I've just noticed that with the hash key up there. Yeah. Another thing that I can tell you is this machine would have originally came with Windows 95 from the factory. These were only available with Windows 95 or NT4, as were the 7400s. So, let me go and write a setup floppy, and then I can soft pack the soft pack. I can soft pack the Compaq, Compaq the soft pack, setup pack the soft pack, Compaq soft pack. So this wee machine has been waiting very patiently, telling me how there is an invalid system disk, and that I should replace the disk and then press any key. Well, the reason why it's had to wait patiently is because I've been trying to write an image to a floppy disk. Floppy disk which I got with the Gateway Gateway 2000 Solo, which I've not been able to show you yet because I still need to sort out an optical drive for it. However, here is the computer setup diskette. Now you might notice that I've attached this parallel port floppy drive, Compaq branded. I got it for the M700 originally, the 366 MHz M700, and I've not. Well, I've used it with that machine and it works. However, I've decided to plug it in here so that I can have both floppy disk and CD-ROM access. That's kind of to this machine's debit. the fact that you don't get floppy disk and CD-ROM access on it. However, to completely reject this machine on the fact that you have to have either a CD-ROM drive or a floppy drive in the machine, and not both at the same time, would be really quite foolish, because Dell were doing that with their Latitudes by this point, as were HP with their OmniBooks, and I'm pretty sure there were other manufacturers at it. It was a pretty standard practice. It was generally only consumer-based laptops or the more expensive business laptops that would have both installed in the chassis. Anyway, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert this disk here. When plugged into the parallel port, this floppy drive works as normal. In Windows you do have to install drivers, but the Compaq's BIOS sees it with no problems at all. Now there is a slight problem at the moment, and I will show you that once this completely loads up. But as you can see, it's doing so absolutely fine. And the floppy drive read light is shining there. I might actually need to switch on a light because it's getting a bit dark. I mean, today is September the 19th, 2013, and you can definitely tell at the moment that the nights are drawing in. It's 6:45, and yeah, okay. Press enter to continue. I don't know what happened there. That's not good. But there is a slight problem. I think I'll just go right ahead and tell you what the problem is. The problem is that I can't seem to install the diagnostic partition. I will need, I did think it a bit suspicious how I only needed the one disk. I do need, apparently I need the PC diagnostics diskette to be able to create the partition. So I really don't know what I can do there. I'll have to go and look on the forums, because I can't seem to find it on Compaq's website, but I'm pretty sure someone can link me to the right image, and then I can create a diagnostics diskette, and then I can actually go ahead and install the partition. I've decided that, I mean, I've neglected to do this in the past with some of my other Compaqs, the 7750 MT, and I believe the 4131T. I believe I have done it for... Oh, here we go! Yes, we're in! Oh, look at this. This is not bad panel fitting at all. Well done, Compaq. Okay, so what I'm going to try to do is install the computer setup. Yeah, a diagnostic partition does not exist. Use the PC diagnostics diskette to create a partition. Thanks, Compaq. However, what we can do is run the setup. And here we see the panel fitting is not as good. Never mind. However, we do have the asset tag. We've got some specifications. We can set the system date and time. It's Pentium 2 with MMX, 266 MHz. ROM date, 7th of August 98. I believe it's an American... Hang on a minute. Yeah. I don't know. I actually don't know. Oh, it looks like it's got 128 megs of RAM. That's nice. So let's set the date and time now. Whoa! I didn't mean to do that. I like how it's kind of a pseudo Windows 3.1. That's kind of nice. I don't know. Yeah, it's month, date, year. So I want 9 9. 9 and 9 and 9 and 9 and 9 and 9 and 9. Oh, I have to go up, do I? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And the date is the 19th. And the year is not 1980. The year is in fact 2013. And the system time should be set to 1849. Whee! This mouse actually works. There we go. Power management, we can have some of that. Enable hibernation. Battery conservation, custom conservation, security management, we won't be needing any of that. Boot management, enable quick boot, disable diskette bootability. I don't want to be doing that. Multi-boot. So that's kind of good. Customize the order in which a multi-function bays are tested for bootable media during the boot process. Hopefully the default settings should do it. If not, I can always come back in here. Even though I can't install the setup diskette, I can certainly run it from the floppy disk. Let's have a look at the hard drive. Yep, it seems like it's the 8 gig one. Although it doesn't actually tell me who makes it, but I'm pretty sure I'll be able to find that out in Windows or something. Input devices. Again, I can do resource. PS2. Yeah. It does it all by... We can have a look at the audio settings. ESS control interface. And yes, it's an ESS 1879 plug and play. I would kind of like to think that Compaq have actually provided the right drivers. And it's an S3 VarGMX PCI graphics controller. I do wonder, sorry I'm not able to show the whole screen here, I do wonder if it's a 3D one. I believe the Varges are, but now we've got, you know, the advanced settings. Compaq PCI to USB open host controller, AT interrupt controller, AT DMA controller, AT timer, AT style speaker sound. See, I would like to be able to configure the volume on this, because if it's anything like the Armada 7750 MT, it's too loud and you can't do anything about it. When you're playing old games, that can get pretty wearisome. Not least for the people who have to suffer as well. But yeah, I kind of like this. I do like this setup utility. Who would have ever thought of a BIOS setup utility with a mouse pointer and graphics, windows, icons, menus, and pointers? It's do you know, I'm kind of half expecting an option to enable UEFI boot on a Windows 98 Pentium 2 MMX machine. UEFI boot. I remember someone saying to me, "Oh, by the way, if your computer's BIOS is graphical, it means you have UEFI." That's not true, because I've worked with computers with text-based BIOSes that have UEFI, and obviously, as you can quite clearly see here, this is, well, not necessarily graphical BIOS, but American Megatrends did used to do one. did used to have a graphical BIOS. On some of the machines. I had a machine with one that I was given by the person who built my 2001 custom build. It was a Pentium 100. Anyway, let's switch on a light and we'll get started with Windows 98 installation, because as you can probably tell, the machine has no operating system. Now, if all goes well, I should just be able to boot from the CD-ROM. So what I'm going to do is just exit the utility. Please remove the setup diskette from drive A. I did. So let me show you how I go about installing Windows 98. Okay, so it's booted from the CD-ROM. It's quite odd installing Windows 98 on something like this, because I'm used to my 7750 MT, which is Windows 95 machine. So what I'm going to need to do is boot from the CD-ROM, but we're not going to actually select this top option at all. What we're going to do is just start this computer with CD-ROM support. Now, I do not believe the hard disk is partitioned. In fact, I know for sure it isn't. Otherwise, when this disk created the RAM drive, it wouldn't have done so to drive C. Oh, wait, what's all this? Hang on, no, I'm wrong. It is partitioned. I forget that this is a FAT16. This was an MS-DOS. This runs MS-DOS, which is FAT16 only. Let's actually have a look at how it is partitioned. Yeah. The reason this disk didn't read the C partition is because it's FAT32. Here we go. Now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to low-level format the disk. Well, as low-level as FDisk will allow me to. So I'm going to delete the partition, volume label, there is none. And what I'm going to do, create a new partition by selecting create a partition and then create a primary partition. What's going to happen now is FDisk will verify the disk's integrity. Hopefully it should be still quite good. So now it's going to ask, now it is asking, do you wish to use the maximum available size for a primary DOS partition and make the partition active? Why, yes. Yes, I do. So again, it's going to verify the drive integrity, and while it's doing that, the partition will be created. You must restart your system for your changes to take effect. Any drives you have created or changed must be formatted after you restart. Shut down Windows before restarting. Press ESC to exit FDisk. Okay, so I'm going to just do Control-Alt-Delete here. Once again, I'm going to boot from CD-ROM. I'm going to start computer with CD-ROM support. Now, this is quite a funny setup here, because the format command is not placed into the RAM drive. So initially, it looks like you can't format by booting from the Windows 98 CD. Let me show you. So if I typed format space C colon, it would say bad command or file name. That did throw me at first. However, what I can tell you is if you navigate to drive D, you can tell it's drive D because MSCDEX tells you it is. If whatever drive that tells you it is, that'll be your CD-ROM drive. Obviously, if you're running on a machine that has two CD-ROM drives, basically you'll have two drive letters there, and well, it's up to you to know. Well, if you try one and it says cannot read from this drive or error or whatever, try the other one. But for more advanced users, the drive that's set as master will be the first letter. Okay, so I'm in the D drive. I'm going to change directory to the Windows 98 directory, because that is where the format command is. Now, because we've just FDisked the drive, we have to do a full format. What I'm going to do format C, and then I'm going to put /s there. System, and that will copy the system files and make drive C bootable. All it will do though is it will boot into a version of MS-DOS 7.1, which you'll probably see the Windows 98 splash screen very briefly, but it will be MS-DOS. So what we're going to do is just press enter. Warning, all data on non-removable disk drive C will be lost. Proceed with format. If I press yes, will you give me a Coke? So I'm going to go. Why, thank you. Well, I'll probably well remove it from the laptop. So while that's formatting, I'm going to cut the video. Thanks to the magic of video editing, I'll be right back. Okay, so that's completed. Took a while, but as you can see, calculating free spaces may take several minutes. Complete, and the system has been transferred. Volume label 11 characters. Okay, let's call it. Let's just call it Compaq 7800. Right, now, at this point, a lot of people would be expecting me just to type setup, press enter, and continue with the Windows 98 install. But that's just what you'd be expecting me to do. No, I've got a better idea. How many times have you tried to change a setting in Windows 98 only to be given that annoying screen? It's like, yes, would you mind awfully with the Windows 98 CD? Yeah, that'd be very good, very good. Please insert Windows 98 into drive, whatever drive it is. Well, this is an 8GB drive. I think it's, quite big. So, what I'm going to do is what the OEMs used to do. I'm going to copy the contents of the Win98 directory on the Windows 98 CD to the hard drive, but not just anywhere. The way I'm going to do it is type in MD options. Hang on, no, Windows. So I've made a Windows directory, CD Windows, and then within the Windows directory I'm going to make another directory called options. Excellent. And then within the options directory, going to make another directory called cabs. And it's nothing to do with taxis. Cabs stands for cabinet, as in a cabinet file, which is Microsoft's own compressed file format. And for some reason, back in the early 2000s, I always used to use cabs. I don't know why, or how, or what, or when, or I don't know. But I always used to use them over zip files. Windows 98 can read cabinet files, but without the help of a third-party program, it can't write to them. However, nowadays I just use either zip or RAR files. Okay, so now we've got this folder created, what I need to do is copy D:// Win98 /***. Now what I've just done is said to copy everything from the D198 directory, and the way I told it to copy everything was I used the wildcard star, put a point, and then the wildcard star for extensions. So basically it's like any file you find, just copy it. However, if I just wanted the cab files, I could literally delete that star and type in cab. So anything that whose file name ended in .cab would be copied, and that's all that would be copied. But because I want everything copied, it's star.star. If I was copying to a directory that I wasn't currently in, I would type the name of the directory, well, type the path of the directory after the command. But because I'm already in the cabs directory, all I need to do is type copy d:/win98 /star.star, which basically tells the computer to just copy everything into the directory that I'm in. And as you can see, it's currently taking place. Copying nice and quickly as well, I must say. Hard drive LED seems to be quite dim. It's probably nearing the end of its life. Yes, I have been watching the Cube Computer channel. He was talking about what happens when a light emitting diode comes to the end of its life. And yes, I have actually experienced first-hand LEDs that dim over time. I remember my first light-up watch that I bought in April 2000. Started out with a really bright LED, but over time it just got dimmer and dimmer and dimmer and dimmer. There we go, that's all the files copied. Now to install Windows, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take out the Windows 98 CD. Sorry about that shake there. And then I'm just going to give the computer the 3-finger salute to restart it. Excellent. As you can see, like I said, we're in DOS 7.1, which is the DOS that came with Windows 98. How can it... well, although it won't actually say that. But it does register as DOS 7.1 in Acronis OS Selector. I'll just say Windows 98 version 4.10.2222. Right, so we need to go back to the directory where all the Windows files are stored. So, to do that, I'm going to type cd Windows /options /cabs, because you can navigate multiple levels of directories at the same time. Whoops. It would be an idea if I actually typed it correctly. Typed XD there. There we go. And just to check all the files are there, I can type dir and then put the switch /w, so it'll actually show everything in columns rather than everything just in the one column. Multiple columns. And everything's there. So what I'm looking to do is start setup.exe. Excellent. And now what Windows will do is it will scan the hard disk before it starts setup, because nobody wants to install Windows on a hard disk with errors. Well, hopefully there shouldn't be any errors, because it is a freshly formatted hard disk with a brand new partition table on it. Excellent. And now we're in. We're ready to start Windows setup. Dark panel fit. I thought it was a lot better than it actually is, but then again, having said that, I mean, I think the only computer manufacturer that had display fit that didn't actually distort everything on screen was actually Dell. Okay, so create directory. Now it wants to store Windows in directory C Windows.000 because this is a full copy of Windows 98 rather than an upgrade copy. It wants it is pre-programmed to want to do a clean install. And because the Windows directory exists and it's got stuff in it, it thinks there's a pre-existing installation of Windows in there. But there isn't. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select Other Directory, press Next, and when it asks me what directory I want to install Windows in, I'm just going to delete the .000. I'm going to click Next. Caution! This directory contains C:\Windows already exists. If you continue, files in this directory may be overwritten. Do you want to continue with the specified directory? Yes. Nothing that I've created should be overwritten. It would be it wouldn't be very nice if it was. So now it's going to prepare the directory. Very nice. Checking for available disk space. So setup options. We want typical. We've got typical, portable, compact, or custom. Now I'm going to go for custom because I'd like to install everything. Install all that, and that, and that. I'm not going to install internet connection sharing because that shows up as a device with something wrong with it in Device Manager. I'm going to remember not to install online services because they are no use nor ornament to me. And here we have it, Windows 98 337.1 megabytes on a hard disk with 7,658.8 megabytes free. Yeah, I should have said 337.1 megabytes of disk space as needed by setup. So I'm going to click Next here. Now it's asking me for a computer name. Why? I think I'm going to call it Armada 7800. Now, the keyboard layout, normally I would set it to British, but because this is a United States keyboard, I'm just going to leave it where it is. United States 101. Is that not a class a bit about the basics of America? That's what it sounds like. United States 101! But I am going to set the system locale to British because the machine is still being used in Scotland. Regional settings, English, British. Right. I'm going to click Next. Establishing your location. Windows 98 makes it easy to get region-specific news and information. Selecting the correct location enables the basic settings for receiving. Establishes, the basic settings for receiving this information. Select the country or region from the list below. Select your country or region from the list below. Yep. Startup disk. It's going to now want to try and create a startup disk. Start copying files. That's what I'm going to start doing. Now, this is going to take a while, so I urge you at this point to go and make yourself a cup of tea, or if you don't have the device drivers for the system, you might want to go and get them. To do that, you'll need to find out what make and model your system is. For example, this is a Compaq Armada 7800. If it's a custom built system, however, if you still can contact the person who built it for you, they might be able to tell you what all was in it, or if you have any paperwork, it might actually detail the components that are in there. But I have the drivers, and I'm going to show you how to install those once Windows 98 is installed. But thanks to the magic of video editing, I will be right back. And now I present how to be slow on the uptake. Derp. Yeah. So here we are installing Windows 98. This is Windows 98 starting up for the first time. Again, I know this is a black top as opposed to the white machine that the Armada 7750 MT is, but it's odd seeing Windows 98 on one of these. Glad I got one, actually. Okay, so now it's time to register Windows 98. I don't know why Windows 98 2nd Edition does it in this order. Because it's like, Windows 98 is near as damn it installed. And then it asks you if you want to accept the terms of the licensing agreement. Okay, now time to type the CD key in. Now, start wizard. Windows 98, saved all information. Click to finish, continue, starting Windows 98. Okay, so now what Windows will do is it will initialize the driver database, and it will go searching for any hardware it can find, set up any non-plug and play devices it can find, and then it will restart. And then it will continue trying to find hardware, and then after it's done that, it'll ask you for the date and time and your time zone, and then it'll just do a few last minute things, populate the start menu, set up the Windows help system, tune up any DOS applications, and of course it will then, set up the control panel items, and then of course it will go on to just kind of tie up the loose ends, but configuring the system settings. And then that will be it done. We'll be into Windows 98. One thing I completely forgot here is that because it's a laptop, it's detected the PC card slots. PC card slots, which in this machine are populated by, you guessed it, one of the red Zercom Type 3 Ethernet modem type thingy PC cards. Seem to be quite popular. Ended up with a couple of those. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, welcome to the PC card setup. It'll ask me, are you using the PC card, network card, CD-ROM connected to a SCSI card, etc. to install Windows? No, I am not. And then it's asking, Windows did not find any existing real mode PC card drivers. Either you did not have any, or you have drivers that Windows couldn't detect. If your PC cards were working properly before starting the wizard, you probably have drivers that Windows didn't detect. You should review your system files and select the drivers yourself. Do you want to review your system files and select real mode PC card drivers so Windows can disable them? Nope, because again, I didn't have any PC card drivers installed. You have finished the PC card wizard. To enable 32-bit support, click Finish and then restart your computer for the changes to take effect. But because this is part of Windows 98 setup, the computer of course won't restart. Had I encountered those two screens within Windows, finishing that wizard would have not restarted the computer. What it would have done is to switch the machine off. And this is another good reason why it's always a good idea to copy Windows files to the C drive before setting up Windows. During Windows setup, and I'm saying this more for Windows 95 than 98, your CD-ROM drive isn't always as accessible. isn't always accessible during this stage of setup. So Windows tries to install drivers, tries to refer to the Windows 98 CD, which of course it can't access, therefore it can't install drivers. So when you start Windows, you've pretty much got to go into Device Manager, delete the devices and start again. But like I said, it's more for Windows 95 than 98. Windows 98 usually is pretty well behaved with this CD-ROM drive. However, the 2001 custom built by this part of setup, it never needed to refer to the Windows 98 CD. I mean, I could safely eject it. Even if I was installing from the CD, I could safely eject the disk at the end of the first part of setup and it would be fine. As you can see, the driver Windows is now detecting non-plug-and-play hardware in the computer. Caution, this may take a few minutes and may cause your computer to stop responding. If the progress indicator stops for a long time and there is no disk activity, please restart your computer. What I also like is you've got this animation of a magnifying glass searching over a computer. I mean, the progress indicator could stop for a while, but that doesn't necessarily mean that progress isn't being made. So the thing to really watch out for is that magnifying glass. If that stops for too long an amount of time, I mean, yeah, it'll sometimes go slower, sometimes it'll go at regular speed. But if that was to stop for a silly amount of time, you just restart the computer. Don't use Control-Alt-Delete in that circumstance. Literally, just power down your computer on a Compaq Armada. If you've got the choice of a power button and a slider switch, it's a slider switch that you will need to use to power it down. If you try using the power button, you'll just end up with an awful sounding beep. Alright, so here we are. I just need to set the time zone. As you may remember, I set the time in the CMOS. So I need to set my clock to Greenwich. Meantime, it's September 2013, and my the goodness, the time has flown in less than 2 weeks. It's going to be the 1st of October. Wow. Just wow, it didn't seem 2 minutes ago since it was the 1st of September. Again, millions of wow. And now it's going to populate the start menu. Windows Help, Configuration Settings, MS-DOS Configuration Settings, Tune-Up Application Start, and then now we're on to configuring, updating system settings. So, and that's all part of the something configuration. Yeah, the system configuration. There you go. And who remembers this wee drum? I always wondered about that. When I was wee, I used to think that the drum was trying to emulate the beat of a then modern pop song. I don't know why. I mean, this was when I was about 13 years old, and kind of staring at this for the first time. I'm like, I remember Chris. I don't know. Okay, so as you can see, Windows is nearly done updating the system settings. I have my drivers here on a flash disk. However, before I can plug a flash disk into this machine, as it's running Windows 98, there is something I will need to do. I will need to install the USB mass storage device driver for Windows 98, which is an excellent driver, and enables me to just use removable storage devices on Windows 98 like I would on any later version of Windows. For example, Windows 2000, Windows Millennium Edition, Windows XP, Windows Vista, Windows 7, Windows 8, and of course Windows 8.1. So now we're actually going to be going into Windows 98 properly for the first time. However, there's still a couple of things that Windows will probably want to do. It will want to well, it'll certainly want to set up the monitor. And that is my good friend Billy Core messaging me on Facebook. So I'm just going to press enter here because I don't want to put a password in because it's pretty much superfluous. The only reason I'd want a password is for networking. You can use you can actually tweak Windows so that pressing cancel on that login dialog box won't put you to the desktop. So Windows 98 has started, and you've probably noticed that the colours are a wee bit off. There's a good reason for that. Windows is only displaying in 16 colour mode at VGA resolution at 640 by 480, and again there's a good reason for that. It's because Windows does not have the proper drivers installed. So let's rectify that. First of all, I'm going to need the mass storage USB driver, which I have on this disk, which I made up for the Compaq Disk Pro P1 GHz, so that I could use my USB drive in Windows 98. Hang on a minute, I need to get the button. That would be an idea, wouldn't it? Okay, now time to drop this disk in. Okay, so there's quite a few things on here that I might be able to take advantage of. First off, I'm going to install WinRAR, just because I can. Right, okay, that's WinRAR installed, and now yep. Now that I've installed WinRAR, I need to install StranRAR. No, I don't. We already have StranRAR installed. It's in the pretty much in the southwest. Anyway, installing the USB driver. As you probably heard there is sound enabled on this machine, which is fantastic. And while this is starting, I'm just going to fold the lid down, and there is a USB port on the back of this machine. Which is completely unlike the Armada 7750 MT. But then again, this is not a 7700 series compact, this is a 7800 series compact, which makes it different. At least I hope that's USB. Yes, it is. I'm just on a flash disk. Let's try to put it in upside down. Right. As you can see, it's actually found the flash disk straight away. And I won't need to insert any disk to install this now. The drivers are installed in Windows. It'll literally just be a case of click next, search for the correct device, just click next again, and then it's found it. USB mass storage device, see Windows Inf. Shouldn't even need to restart the computer. USB disk. I will leave this disk in because there are a few things that, you know, I probably will install from it. What I'm going to do now, though, is go to Compaq Armada. Oh, wait. It would be an idea, wouldn't it? Please try pay attention, Jay. What I seem to have forgotten to do is copy the drivers over. So I kind of must do that now. Shouldn't take 2 minutes. Wait a minute. What? There we go. I've got a Compaq drivers folder. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to there we go. And now that's away copying. Excellent, that's that completely done. And now just need to reinsert the flash disk into the computer. And once again, I can just access it. It is hot pluggable, just like it would be on any other version of Windows, but then again, that was always the thing about USB, is that it is hot pluggable. Here we are, Compaq Armada 7800. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this to my documents, and there's a good reason for that. It's better to try and install something from the hard disk than it is from a USB 1.0, 1.1 flash disk. The speed would suffer greatly, so it's, you know, best just to let it copy everything across and then just install it locally. Now I already took the liberty of expanding all the files. So, we're about ready to install, and the first thing that's going to be installed is the video driver. That was awful quick. Hope this is the right driver. I would have expected a video driver to take a bit longer to install. Oh no, it seems I'm running out of battery. That's not good. Yeah, see, I did have my suspicions. I did have my suspicions. The video driver has not installed, and so obviously I'm not impressed. So I wonder if I can install it manually. So, see, it's there. It's there. But I don't understand why it's behaving this way. It's saying unknown device. I just don't understand this. Drivers not present or not installed properly. So I don't need that. So instead I'm just going to go into my documents and then go to disk 2, and then hopefully that will let me install something. There we go. That looks a lot more like it. Now it's building the hardware. Building the driver information database. You build that. You build that database. Don't let anyone tell you you can't build that driver information database. Because we all know it's true. You don't want to let the bullies win now. You feel empowered by building that driver information database. I'm going to have to try and find a way to see if I can lengthen this cable. I could just do that. There we go. That's more like it. Once again, it wants to detect the default monitor. Exactly what resolution this is, I just don't know. I think it's 1024 by 768. Just looks really, really massive. I mean, I know that that's what you know, that would make it the same resolution as the 7750 MT, which is also SVG, well, XGA. Oh, 1024 by 768. Yeah, that kind of looks like the native res. Let's have a look at this graphics card. So, oh look, I have a Compaq tab. Very nice. Adapter. It's got 4 megs on board, and being an S3 Verge, that was one of the first 3D cards. So, you know, hopefully, you know, that should, well, actually it will. I've tried an S3 Verge card on the Armada 7400 and was very pleased with the results. And that's not exactly something I generally tend to level at S3 cards. Certainly not the later ones, although the Compaq Presario 2240, that uses an S3 Trio, S3 Trio 64 V2 or something like that. Anyway, it's yeah. Anyway, let's set the mouse pointer to something I can actually see. There we go. And let's have a look at installing some audio drivers. I mean, Windows 98 already has some, but let's actually install the offerings from ESS themselves. That is just the sound of iTunes thinking, oh, look at that, new hardware found. Yes, it's always good to have a proper sound card driver. Windows, I mean, I've said this before and I will say it again. Windows drivers are fine. Windows drivers included with Windows are absolutely fine if you can't get drivers from the original manufacturer's website. You know, absolutely fine. However, I personally, I would always try, even if Windows has drivers installed, I would always try and find the hardware manufacturer's drivers, because they will no doubt offer better support for Windows, for the devices. Let's install the only free software to come with this machine. I mean, I've seen what the original software bundle is, and there's really nothing. But then again, this is a business machine. So, I mean, it's not like you need a massive bundle of software. Because more often than not, IT admins would install their own software, and hang on a minute. Whoops. How can I install something if it's not going to let me select which direct... Oh, never mind. Okay, don't need that anyway. Compaq Diagnostics for Windows. Yes, I think we will install that. That's Compaq's Diagnostics for Windows. I always insist on using version 3 because version 4 is Hewlett-Packard branded. I mean, that would be the equivalent of... That, I believe, would be the equivalent of going into Packard Bell system information and system credentials and seeing NEC's or Acer's logo plastered all over it. It would make a lot of Packard Bell purists very unhappy. I know... Oh, why have you done that? I'm sure there's a way to sort it. Computer set up. Docking station driver. I wonder if it's like the 7770s. Like the one that UXW Bell has, where it'll kind of you hit the eject button and it'll just kind of eject itself auto magically. That is fun. I'd love that docking station, but considering how big this machine is, I genuinely don't feel that I have room for a docking station, and that docking station is massive! Here we go! Feeling quite tired the new. It is coming up to about 9:15 now, so I guess it's only natural that I'd feel a wee bit tired at night, Ken. Right. Docking station driver, I don't need the ether... external display config utility. I might install that. Just in case. You never know. One day I might be called upon to give a presentation on how to use an old laptop using an old laptop. Actually, believe it or not, I went to Bruce Charlow of Aberdeen University. I went to one of his tech meetup meetings. He said, "Jay, you collect old computers. Why don't you come and give a talk?" And it was not just kind of a night for me. I mean, that would have been like the most boring night in the whole of existence. But it was a few people were able to actually give a talk on stuff that they were doing. And I gave a talk on using old machines, and I took a couple of computers with me. None of them which were Compaqs, which were a bit of a shame. I took the Toshiba Satellite T2130CS and the ThinkPad 380D. Is it 380? I don't know. I took the ThinkPad 380, whatever it is I've got, and I kind of gave a talk on like things that the machines would be useful for, and I spoke a wee bit about using an old machine as a NAS box in the style of UXW Bell, and it wasn't bad actually. I was able to show a few legacy programs, things like that. LPT port floppy driver. I'm not going to restart just yet. The programmable keys. I'm glad I've got the driver for this. I think the one thing that I can't seem to find either for this machine or for the 7750 MT is a hot swap D-Bay driver. However, one thing just before I go on to that. Rail mode drivers. If you are at all into legacy gaming, install these. This will give you MS-DOS mode set up, and I've shown this in my video about the Compaq Armada 7750 MT. This will give you rail mode DOS set up in a very, very, very optimum way. Now installing the system enhancements. As I was saying before, the issue that I have is that there's no hot swap drive bay driver. So it's if I wasn't using this parallel port floppy drive and I wanted to switch this DVD drive out for the internal multi-bay floppy drive, I would actually have to power down the laptop, take out the DVD drive, put the floppy drive in, and then power it back up again. Oh, look, now we've got a nice Compaq logo on Windows 98. Yay, Compaq logo! But, I think that is something that, I'm not sure if it was included. I should know my Armadas better than this. I guess because the main Armada that I do use is the Armada E500, which does have a floppy drive and a CD drive in the chassis. I guess it doesn't really appear as much of a problem. But really, it's quite annoying. Now for the Compaq power management stuff. There we go. And now this is where, this is something where Compaq, I've said it before and I'll say it again, this is definitely somewhere that Compaq definitely had it over Dell where graphics were concerned. This has got 3D graphics, whereas there's a similar Dell system, the Dell Latitude CPI D266XT, doesn't. Okay, granted, these systems were not meant for playing games. However, Compaq must have seen that business customers would have had a need for 3D graphics in order for them to be installed. You don't install something in a laptop unless it's absolutely necessary. Businesses don't like spending too much money. They like machines to be exactly what they need. They don't like to spend what's not needed to be spent. I mean, yes, granted, professional software is expensive. Professional grade laptops are expensive. But that's because they need the reliability. What they don't need is things like gaming. Because, I mean, that's not what a business machine's necessarily about. However, I do say that, and yet the old business laptops of this era are absolutely brilliant. But here's all the drivers. They are all now installed. And this machine is just about ready. Let me just double check with the device manager. But as you can see, I'm already I'm getting a bit ahead of myself, and I'm away to install applications. What? Are you being serious? There is a modem and there is Ether? I don't know. I wasn't aware of this. The spec sheet told me that no modem, no Ether. No, I know exactly. I actually... No, wait. I know exactly where this has came from. This is not inside the machine at all. It's this wee comrade here. Derp. Now let's have a look. There we go. Everything's installed. I will give PC card Type 3 slots their dues. You don't need anything hanging out of it. But, I mean, like I've said, like I always will say, I'm not too keen on the idea of using up 2 PC card slots for something that can quite easily work with just the one. Obviously, I always install Office. I don't know why, it just feels right. And people have been actually talking about this keyboard. How they reckon it would be quite uncomfortable to type. Well, I've got to be honest. Not really. I mean, yes, it does seem odd having all this space up here as opposed to having it down here and the keyboard up there. But if you think about it, most people don't ever use the palm rest with the keyboard, even though they should do. You know, a regular keyboard has, you know, quite a small... Well, I mean, this one's quite a large keyboard, so it really doesn't. But regular keyboards do have quite a small lip between them, you know, between the desk and the bottom row of keys. So this really is no different. Kind of reminds me of the design of the laptops on The Sims 3, actually. Anyway, I'll be back as soon as I get some applications installed. Okay, so that's me installing Internet Explorer 6 onto this machine. You can definitely tell. There's just some things about this machine I can definitely tell that it is one of the slower speed Pentium 2s. I mean, my other 266 megahertz machine runs Windows 95. Having said that, I do have a couple of 233s running 98. But again, you can kind of still tell on that. On those, you know, kind of the speeds of them. It's taken a while. That LED. Excellent. So there's Internet Explorer 6 rather, installed. A couple more things I want to load onto here. A version of Adobe Reader. And I went to load onto the Compaq branding. Okay, so the Compaq branding is installed. Let me just show you. There we go. What I'm going to do is something really cruel. I'm actually going to use this DVD drive to try and play a video DVD. Now, Power DVD itself seems to bring the system to its knees. Yeah, that was... yeah. So what I'm going to do instead is use Windows Media Player. Because with the Power DVD installed, I believe you can get Windows Media Player 6.4 to play DVDs. Although I really highly doubt that a 266 MHz Pentium 2 is anywhere near enough the kind of speeds needed for DVD playback. Okay, so that maybe didn't go as well as I was hoping. Let's try restarting and see what happens. Chances are what I will probably do is switch this drive out with something else. Yeah. It's just not going to happen. Yeah. Okay, well that's absolutely fine. Kind of wasn't expecting it to anyway. Just was kind of curious. Anyway. Let's get on to some more important things. There's not much I've installed on here. Of course, there's Microsoft Office 97. There you go. then we can save that document. There is also Acrobat Reader 4. Oh, and there's Tetris. There's the Best of Windows Entertainment Pack. Because I was going to, with this having an S3 Verge for S3 Verge MX graphics card, I really should be testing its 3D gaming capabilities. To be honest with you, I'm getting a wee bit tired. It's getting a bit late. I just want to get this video done. I want to go to my bed. Then again, that's pretty much what depression and lethargy will... That's pretty much what depression can do. It can leave you feeling awful fatigued. But I do enjoy playing Tetris. Now, has to be said. Very little changes. Do you know, I'm going to be honest, it does not seem 2 minutes ago since I was doing the update video on the Compaq Armada E500 in February of this year. February 2013, while at Penumbra. It's just kind of blown me away how quickly this year's gone. It's just unreal, really. It's like, the next thing we know, the holiday season will be upon us. It's really quite something, really. It's and it's like I was saying earlier in this video, it's getting towards the end of September now, and coming up to October, and it doesn't seem 2 minutes ago. Obviously, if you're watching this video at another time of the year, then you'll be wondering what on earth it is that I'm blabbling on about. But if you're watching this video as it's uploaded, then you might be able to reflect on that. I know I certainly am. I always become a wee bit reflective when playing Tetris, though, because it's kind of one of those games that you're thinking about your next move, but for me at least, it's probably the game that I can play and yet still hold a conversation with someone. Yeah. And this particular version of Tetris does have a lot of quite personal, hold quite a lot of personal memories for me. None of which I can go into. It's nothing dodgy. Don't get too overexcited. Just something that is kind of personal to my life. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm just gonna. Do you know what? I'm just gonna derp this game now and just. J. Wakefield. Whoops. There you go. So this has been a wee look at the Compaq Armada 7800. So, what do I think of it then? I think that for the time, this was an absolutely brilliant laptop. It had all the features that you would have wanted. I especially like the XGA display. Although I think that the panel fit could have probably been a wee bit better. A lot of laptop manufacturers also had trouble with the panel fit on the displays at this time, but Dell had got it. Dell had got it down to a fine art by the time the CPI came around. However, I do like the switchable drive bay. I do like how... Well, I do like how it's got MMX technology on it. I like the programmable keys, which Compaq have set to be the start menu and the application key, as you can see there. However, it's kind of like what the giveth with one hand, the taketh away with the other, because they'll give you the programmable keys, but you don't. This is not a Windows 95 keyboard layout. And that's yeah. I really just don't know what to say to that. Really. I don't think. The speakers are all right for the time. I personally don't think this blew me away as much as it did on the 7750 MT. But a lot of people would say that the keyboard is quite uncomfortable. And, they might kind of have a point. However, I can see where Compaq have done this, because instead of having the machine ventilate at the bottom, it actually ventilates both on the sides and at the top. And that actually does mean that the machine can, maybe run cooler, or you can maybe set the machine down on your lap. Because it's better, I think the air can flow a lot more freely if it comes out at the top rather than if it goes out at the bottom. I like the volume keys. I wish that you could actually make the PC speaker beep sound lower. But at the end of the day, it's it would be quite unpleasant if playing DOS games. Hopefully, it's the case that you can plug in a pair of headphones and kind of sort that out. Overall, though, I do very much like this machine. I'm glad I've got one. It's taken me long enough to kind of search for one. And, as a fan of the 7750 MT, this kind of a nice machine is this. And I like how it's in black as well. 7750 MT has got kind of a retro charm to it.
Hooray! I have mail!
And apparently Luke's got some mail. Brilliant, Luke. I'm really glad that they're happy you've got mail. But, the 7750 MT has got a retro charm to it, whereas this one, it kind of still does, but it's a wee bit more modern. And some may argue, therefore, a wee bit more understated. The design language of the machine is updated. It's not got the it's got more of an ellipsis than an oval, where the Compaq logo is. So Compaq have actually stepped away from their 486 kind of early 90s Desk Pro design with this machine, and gone for something that's kind of more modern. And I just, I really quite like it. Now, you might be thinking, would I get this over, if I had to choose, would I have one of these over, say, the 7400? Well, my particular 7400 is actually faster than this. It's a 300 megahertz model. Whether I would have one of these over a 7400 is kind of difficult to say, really. Because the 7400 has got a proprietary power supply that you actually... It's got a proprietary power supply. It's not the barrel type, it's kind of a more proprietary type. But at the same time, it's not really bad at all. And the keyboard is actually up here rather than down here, which means, you know, got room for a proper palm rest, and, you know, a trackpad. And whereas this has obviously got the internal power supply, which means you only need to find a Mickey Mouse clover lead. So I think the 70... I don't know, I also think the 7400 is a wee bit thinner as well. But I like both machines. I actually do. I think they're fantastic. I think Compaq in the 90s, they really were on top of things. I really liked what they were doing, and it was actually just, they made a lot of good machines. Anyway, now that I've finished reflecting, it's time for me to sign off and end this video. So thank you for watching. If you liked what you saw, please feel free to subscribe. To do so, follow the URL, which will be appearing while you're there at my channel. Please feel free to watch some of my other videos if you've not already done so. And with that, I hope you'll all join me for my next video. Thank you for watching. See you again.